Hi guys, Rose here with the Cackling Moon. This is going to be a video all about how to charge for your services and my tips and kind of like how I go about it to kind of help you figure out how to best approach charging for your business. It's been a question asked of me multiple times. Let me move this camera back. It's been a question asked of me multiple times. And it's also been a topic that I once struggled with when I first started charging for my tarot reading services. So charging for your services is something that you decide to do when you decide that there is value to your services and that you are comfortable making the exchange of your services for payment. When you get to that spot, that point in time when you feel comfortable delivering your services in exchange for payment and taking on the responsibility that comes with receiving payment from someone else, then you'll know you are ready to start charging for your services. Let's say you have been doing free readings for quite some time, or not even a year. It really doesn't matter the time frame, but you are deciding, I think I'm ready to start charging for my readings. It can be a little scary to go from being a free reader to a paid reader or a professional reader, because a lot of the clients that you currently have who are used to receiving your services for free, a good portion of them will no longer follow you into the realm of paid readings, because there's certain people that are they just want a service for free. They don't have the desire to pay for it, and that's okay. But there are the clients that you will have who value your services, who value your abilities to the point where they know that you are worth the dollar amount, and they will follow you into the realm of a paid reader. So I guess the first step to figuring out your prices is to get rid of any of those scared feelings of, I don't want to upset any of my clients because they're used to getting the free readings and I don't want to upset them by putting a dollar amount, that kind of thing. Get rid of that way of thinking, because that isn't, it's not going to get any easier. And if people truly value what you do, and they respect you as a reader, and they respect your abilities, and they trust you, and they love all of the things that you do, they will be willing to pay for your services, because there is that understanding and that respect that goes there. Now, I'm not saying that people who prefer the free readings don't respect, but I'm just saying that there are certain clients that will follow you no matter what route you take. And then there are the ones that are only looking for a quick freebie, and they won't have the desire to put any kind of money down for anything else. So just accept that, understand that, move on from it, and it'll be good. So I wrote down like a little list of like kind of key points that I want to make as far as charging. So for me, the first thing I had to ask myself was, do I value my services? And yes, I do. That's why I made the decision to go to the realm of charging for my services. I was free reading for about a year, and maybe a little bit over a year or so. And I was doing readings for myself, my friends, coworkers, and a lot of people on my blog via Tumblr. And when I decided to go for paid readings, I literally jumped into $1 to the $5 range. That was considered normal on Tumblr. So the next thing is, where is the social status? Like what social platform are you using? Because that will reflect a lot of the price ranges that you will see. if you are on Tumblr, then you'll know a lot of the readers on Tumblr are either free, to the range of free readers to maybe about $25. That's usually the general range on Tumblr. Whereas Facebook and Instagram, I've noticed there's a wider range of readers. There's a wider range of prices. So I'm seeing people who are still offering freebies via Facebook and Instagram, but they're also charging in upwards of, $50+ for services, and that's considered normal because that's the market is just larger on those platforms. Think of the age groups. A lot of the users who use Tumblr are usually in their teens to early 20s, whereas a lot of the age group of Facebook is generally like my age, 30+, and even older than that. Instagram is probably mainly, I would say 30s, 20, 30, 40 age range, where Facebook is more of the older audience. So with older audiences, there are people who are more established financially who can afford a $50 reading versus people who can only afford a $5 reading. So that is also something to take into consideration. So all of these tips are for those of you guys who are wanting to charge for your readings but are thinking about online, because I feel like the in-person charging is a whole different animal. I'll just put it out there. I feel like charging in person is easier to go upwards in amounts. Because a lot of the shops where you will see the typical tarot readers, the rates are usually between $60 to $100 something. So it's not unusual to charge $60+ for a reading in person, whereas online you have a little bit more room to offer a mini reading or a 15-minute reading, whereas in person, you're gonna get more out of your time because you're actually taking the time to sit and meet up with this person to do the reading. You know what I mean? So online services, I would say, the first thing, once you've established, are your services worth it? Yes, they are, because you are amazing. Then the next one is, what are others charging? So before you even start to figure out how much you should charge, fish around, look within your own community. What are other readers charging for their services? And it doesn't, and I'm not saying go and copycat all of the rates that other people are doing, but you kind of see like a range. So let's say you are working within Tumblr. What are other tarot readers on Tumblr charging for their services versus readers who are on Instagram? So that's what I'm saying. By seeing what your peers are charging for their services kind of gives you an idea of like a range of where you can, kind of float around, so that clients who are familiar with those kind of readers and they see your stuff, it's kind of like around the same thing. Now, if you are offering a brand or a certain type of a service that is absolutely original and unheard of and no one else is doing it, you have more range to bump up your prices or go completely different from what everyone else is doing, because your stuff is different and it will stand out. And that is the beauty of becoming and being original and authentic, because guaranteed we all have something that we offer that someone else doesn't. And you could be in a room of 5 other tarot readers who are all offering an online reading, but each of us is doing it a little bit different. And that's what makes it special. So I would say, as a tip, see what other readers that you look up to, other readers that you actually go to for your own personal readings, see like what they are charging to kind of give you a range, okay? But it doesn't mean you have to limit yourself to those prices. It's just giving you an idea, okay? Then I would say you could base your readings your rates. This is what I used to do. So when I started selling readings back in 2014, 2013, 2014, I was starting off with, like I said, the $1 to the $5 range. Keep in mind, I was doing it via Tumblr, it was a range that wasn't usually normal on there. And I was also starting with the number of cards. So you can price your services by the number of cards that you use in a reading. That's one way. You could start with like $1 per card. You can do $2 per card. So let's say you have a 3-card reading, you're charging $2 per card. That's a $6 reading right there. Now, when you're first starting out and you're coming from doing completely like free readings, $6 might seem like a lot to you because you're not used to that exchange. That is fine. I feel like a lot of people think that they have to start off super small. You don't, but you also don't have to start off with selling a $100 reading. Go with what you feel comfortable with. So when I started, I felt comfortable charging $1 to the $5 range. It sounds crazy to me now, but that's because I'm used to what I charge now. But yeah, I was doing $1, $5 readings, and I was happy with it. But then you will start to see, you will get a lot of increase in sales. You will get so many new clients and so many orders that you'll start to feel the energy that you are putting out for each reading does not compensate the amount of money that you're receiving. And that's exactly what I was noticing. I was dishing out a $5 reading, but I felt like I was spending a half an hour typing up this beautiful email reading that was maybe 5 pages, and I was only getting $5 out of it. So eventually you'll hit that point where the amount of energy that you're putting forward into your service doesn't feel like it matches up with the price that you were charging for. And that's completely normal. That happens. So if you're just starting out, the number of cards charging per card, that's usually a way that not most, but some of us go. That's how I did it. Let's say you do a lot of the email readings. You could also think of the number of pages in your reading. So if you're doing a small reading, and it's like, all of your small readings are usually about 3 pages, and you're only using maybe like 3 cards, gauging how much is each page worth, how much of your time are you using sitting down, typing up the reading, making it pretty, like how much time and effort is actually going into that reading. It's not just how many cards you're pulling, or it's not just the amount of pages, it's everything. You will quickly realize why readers charge the way that they charge, because there's so much energy that goes into it. It's not just sitting down, pulling a card, and voila, it's done. There's a lot of time and a lot of work that goes into it. And I don't think a lot of people who are not readers, they don't realize that. So that's another thing to take into consideration, the number of pages in your readings. I also put how long is your video or your audio recording. Like my video readings, usually they range anywhere from 15 minutes to half an hour. I've had some of my readings go for almost 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I usually try to keep my larger readings to about half an hour because the download time is intense when I'm trying to download a half an hour video. But also I want to give my client the experience of them actually sitting in the room with me. So that's the whole point of my video readings, is to give them that experience even though they're long distance. But if you're dishing out a 5-minute video reading versus someone who's dishing out a 30-minute video reading, yeah, I could see why you would charge less for the 5-minute versus the 30-minute. So that's another way to kind of gauge an idea of how much you should charge for your stuff. Is your video reading so-and-so amount of time? The other thing is your PDF layouts, or how is this product being delivered to your clients? For me, my email readings are actually typed out in a document that I put together. So it's a set template. And I plug in the photos. I'm taking photos of the cards so that they could see the cards that are being used in their reading. I am plugging in images. I am typing it up. It's all in a beautiful little document. It's pretty. It looks nice. And I like to make sure that it looks nice so that if my client wants to print out their reading to keep forever, they will have this beautiful document that is printed out in color and it looks beautiful. That's the whole point of the email reading, aside from obviously the content of the reading, but the whole look of it is beautiful. And that is also why they're paying what they pay. So in my eyes, I like to make sure that if my client is ordering an email reading, they are not just opening an email and it's not just a little typed paragraph in the body of the email. It's not like that. They are literally receiving a PDF download that is usually 4 to sometimes 10 plus pages, depending on the size of the reading, that they can download and print out and keep forever. It's a beautiful document. So if you are trying to think of how you should price your email readings, think about the product. Are they opening an email and just having it in the body versus a template that you've put together that they print out? Is there an actual product there? If there is, charge up, charge higher on that because it's a literal product that they get to keep. I've received, and I'm not going to knock the person who did the reading, but this was maybe 2 years ago. I purchased a reading and I paid $25 for the email reading. And in my eyes, I assumed that it was going to be similar to the way I do my email readings, where it would be a document that you download and print out. This reading was written in the body of the email, like as if they opened the email and they just typed it, right? And there's nothing wrong with that because you could still print it out. But the thing that I didn't like was she added 2 photos of the cards, but they were blurry and I couldn't even see the images of the cards that great. So it was hard for me to see the image. And the whole email itself was maybe like 2 little paragraphs. It probably only printed out on 1 page. And in my mind, I was very turned off by the way that the product was delivered. The reading itself was amazing. She was very on point. The reading was really good. But the whole product just didn't scream like she spent time on it. You know what I mean? It just looked like it was a rushed document. There wasn't love and that was put into it, nothing. So I was disappointed by that, and that altered my decision that I would never purchase a reading from this person again because of that. So you guys can be kick-ass readers. You guys can be dishing out beautiful readings. But if your product that you're putting out there doesn't reflect the kind of like brand that you're setting for yourself, it can be a turnoff for people. And I'm not saying that everyone is going to think that, but some people want to see something pretty and want to see something that looks professional and put together. If they're paying, $20+ for it, I can understand, a product like that being delivered in that way. If I spend $5 or $10, or it was a free reading, but in my eyes, it was like a $25 reading. I was expecting a little bit more professionalism put into it, and it wasn't like that. So it was a little what's the word I'm looking for? It bugged me. It bothered me. So take that into consideration, you guys. When you are charging for your readings, is your product reflecting the price? Is your product beautiful? Is it yours? Is it authentic? Does it reflect your brand? Because that's important too. Think about what your clients, when they open your email, and they're all excited for their reading, what are they going to see and what is it that they get? Okay. I also put your brand is your value. So your brand is everything. Whether you make the time to have someone create a logo for you, or if you're artsy and you do it yourself, your brand is you. It is who you are. It reflects your professionalism. It reflects how you are as a reader. It reflects everything about you. So you want to make sure that it looks good, and you want to make sure it looks professional, it looks neat, it's well done, it looks like you put a lot of your time and effort and love into it. So that's a big one for me, is if I'm going to be paying for a reading, I want to make sure that what I'm getting it's beautiful, or it reflects what that person, what their brand is. I've purchased readings from various readers who have beautiful brands. The Moon Parlor, she's one of them. Serena from Lavender Moon, she's another one. Gorgeous layout, gorgeous pictures. Everything was beautiful in that email reading, those email readings that I got from them. I was highly impressed. And that's what makes a reading so special. So that's why I put a lot of effort into my email readings as well, because I want my clients to be wowed when they see it. I want them to say, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And I like to think every one of my clients that gets their email reading is printing it out and saving it forever. So that's your brand, you guys. Take it seriously. And then also your time and your energy. How much is your time and energy worth? How much of your time and energy is going towards your services? If you are a single mother, for example, if you're a single mom and you work another job and then you're doing these readings on the side, take into consideration you are taking time away from your family, from your personal life, from your day off. Most likely you're working on your day off from your day job to do these readings. Make sure you're being compensated for all of that. For me, like, I was working full-time at one point, so my days off, I understood that life. My days off from my day job were my TCM days. It was Cackling Moon. So, I really started to value more of how much I was charging. I wasn't feeling the $10 readings anymore. I was like, I deserve more than that. I am worth more than that, basically. You have to be comfortable with that. You have to be comfortable with charging for your stuff. You have to be 100% confident in yourself that you deserve the money that you were receiving for your services, because confidence is key. Your clients will know if you are not confident about the dollar amount that you are charging for your services, they're going to be a little iffy about handing over that money to you, because they're going to be like, does this person really want to do what they're doing? So be confident, you guys. Believe in yourselves. And then I also put down sales and why it's a curse at times. So now I am not going to knock having sales, because I love to have sales as well. But be very careful with becoming that reader that is known only for your sales, okay? Because somebody who constantly throws sales out there on a weekly, I'm talking like every week there is a sale, where your clients don't even know your regular prices because you were constantly on a discount, don't become that reader. Unless you're completely okay with that. But to me, there should be value with your stuff, with your products, and your sales should come at times where it's like, oh, I want to hurry up and get that reading because it's on a sale. Ooh, cool. But your clients will also respect your regular rates because you're just as good. You know what I mean? You don't want to become that reader where people will be like, oh, this person always has sales, so I'm not going to buy their reading yet because I know probably tomorrow it'll be 20% off. Like, don't be that reader. You want your clients to value your services. So always have a sale. Every once in a while, that's cool. Do special sales. You could do like a full moon sale here and there. Not every full moon. You could have like a holiday sale, a Black Friday sale, whatever. But don't do it so often where your clients don't even remember your regular rates, because that's when it's just too much. And you want people to value your work. If people always see someone doing their stuff at discounts, sometimes it can leave the impression that that person isn't, either they're not making enough, or they're trying to hustle because maybe they got a bad review. I don't know. Sometimes it makes you think, like, why is that person always having their content, on a discount? Why never at a regular rate? If you're noticing that you constantly have to put sales out there to make a sale, maybe drop your rates just a little bit. Maybe you're pricing a bit too high based on the social platform that you're using. So, for example, if you were on Tumblr, and I always use Tumblr as an example because that's where I started. If you were on Tumblr, and like I said, Tumblr rates are usually free to $25. Usually that's like the range that you'll see most of the readings. And you go in there trying to charge $120 reading, chances are you're most likely not going to get that sale via the audience on Tumblr. Because like I said, the age range on there is younger. They usually they don't have the budgets. They don't have the budgets for $120 reading. Guarantee you go on Facebook, where it's an older crowd who are financially more stable and they have more abundance in the finances. And you have good reviews, because your client reviews are gold. Yeah, you could definitely book $120 reading from your Facebook sale for sure. It's not impossible. But also think about the audience that you have, because you're not going to be selling $100 readings to, college students who barely have money to buy themselves dinner. You know what I mean? So just think about that too. That's another way to gauge it. I also just think that confidence is key, you guys. Having a steady follower base, having a constant online presence, being positive, confident in yourself, constantly posting, putting out your client reviews. When you get testimonials for your stuff, put it on your website. I need to work more on updating my website. That is one thing I need to get my booty on to doing. But I'm going to tell you, like, every single time I get a client review, I am posting it. I have it on my website. There's like a whole list of them, because I'm proud. I'm proud of it. And I want my future clients to be able to go to my website and see what other people are saying about Cackling Moon, and see what they think. But your reviews are gold, so use them, you guys. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to venture off to raising your rates $1, $5. There's nothing that is more exciting as a reader who's charging for your services, to go and say, I'm going to raise my rates $5, and then the next day or two you get a sale. Someone values you as a reader that much that $5 increase in your services didn't mean anything to someone. They were like, it didn't faze them. They still love you so much that they're going to trust you and they're going to pay the dollar amount. So I think the only other thing I wanted to mention is, yes, when you are going the route of raising your rates, there is, I would say you have the freedom to raise your rates whenever the hell you want. Okay. No one can tell you when you should or shouldn't. I like to raise mine maybe once or twice a year. And it's usually around the end of the year, this time frame, I'll start raising them. But whenever you feel called to do it, and also lowering your rates. I've done that many times where I'm noticing, okay, this service isn't doing so well at this rate. I'm going to drop it a little bit. So play around with it, you guys, and then you'll find your sweet spot. But if you feel like you are worth a $30, $40, $50 reading, and you have the clients who are willing to pay that, and they will, because as soon as clients value you and they see your confidence and how awesome you are, they will pay for your services no matter how much you charge. It just happens. It's slow process though. So don't expect, you know, the minute you raise your rates that you're going to be making double what you used to. Sometimes the process takes time, but it is possible. So I'm hoping that my tips helped you guys, or they gave you something to think about when you are trying to figure out how much you want to price your readings. You know, like I said, you could think based on how many cards are you using, how many pages will it be typed out, how much time and effort is going into it. What are other readers charging? Like, these are things that you can think of before you put a dollar amount to your stuff. And then just test it out. If you put a price like at $25 and you're noticing you're getting a ton of sales and then you're in over your head because you have all these sales, maybe it's time to raise the rate a little bit. You'll find your sweet spot, and then you'll find a spot in your prices where you are completely comfortable and you don't even want to change them. That's good. But I'm telling you, eventually, every reader, it happens, you get to a point where you're like, I think I'm worth a little bit more, or maybe I should drop that one because it's not as popular as it used to be. So figure it out. And let's say, one last tip, let's say you decide to drop a rate, okay? So let's say your love reading, your soulmate reading was so popular at $25, but then you raise the rate to $35, so you put it up 10 bucks. Let's say it's not popular anymore. Well, if you drop the rate, do so, but let's say you were in over your head because it's a big reading. Minimize the number of cards you're using. That's another way you could go too. So just because you drop a rate on a reading doesn't mean that it has to be the same size, okay? You can always minimize the size. It doesn't have to be this glorious 15 card spread for 20 bucks. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. Think about the price versus how big this reading is and how much of your time is going into it as well. So they're all things for you guys to think about. I hope that you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Let me know. I would love to hear from you guys, your ideas, your opinions. If any of this just didn't resonate with you, that's okay. I don't expect anyone or everyone to agree. That is fine. I just wanted to kind of put my 2 cents out there, and this is kind of like, you know, where I come from. But anyone else who has ideas or a different way that they approach it, I would love to hear it. Let me know. And if anyone has questions, you can always reach out and I will do my best to get back to you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later. Bye, guys.